So I thought I'd give you guys a bit of an update on what's been happening with the SEGA Saturn. So if we kick him on, you can see he's powering on. Still asking for the date and time, so I'm going to have to put a battery in. Here we go, up to the SEGA screen. So just like before, I had that janky looking setup, the dodgy wiring, etc. With the power supply, the universal power supply, which I'm still using that universal power supply, but things have changed a bit. So you can see SEGA Rally running, everything's all normal as it was before, which is awesome. So let's turn this off and I'll show you what I've done. Pop out SEGA Rally for a moment. And we'll pop off the top cover. And you'll see what looks a bit like a Molex connector with some wires going into it, which are all soldered in. That Molex connector fits those pins really, really nicely on the Saturn power supply. So I thought, yeah, make use of this, because I picked up a Pico PSU. Now, I've got to say, this idea came from Global Garage, an Australian YouTuber who I've been watching for a good few years. He did videos about the Saturn using a Pico PSU and also the Dreamcast. And I decided to pick up one of these Pico PSUs. This particular one was pretty cheap. It runs off of 12 volts, so I've still got my universal power supply, feeding it 12 volts, 3 amps into there. And that's obviously running to the little Pico PSU, which I've kind of tucked down here. I've got wires going from that to the power switch points, so I can still use the original power switch to turn it on and off. Look, as you can see, that still works as normal, which is awesome. And it's all wired in. The two bottom ones are ground, the two top ones are 5 volts. So this is all working. And the best part about it is, this whole thing is totally reversible within a couple of seconds. I can just literally pull that Molex connector off, which will expose the pins where the power supply would normally sit. And those two wires are just literally fed and tucked in there quite tightly. I can just pull them back out of the power switch connector and restore the original power supply. I've actually got some components on order to service that power supply, to repair it, and hopefully I'll put this thing back to stock standard at some point in time, because this, at the moment, whilst it's working, it's great, and I do like it, it's temporary. Although in the future, my main Saturn, I may decide to do something very similar, put in a Pico PSU, wire it all up, because I think it looks pretty cool, and I like it. I like the idea of that. So there you go, guys. And I've also serviced the CD-ROM drive. I've added some grease, cleaned everything up, and added some new white lithium grease there. And it's working really nicely. Really pleased with it. One of the things I definitely need to do is give the whole thing a pretty good clean, and we're getting some nice weather again now. Springtime, sun's been out. I'm going to have to think about retrobrighting this casing because it is yellowed. That's something I'm definitely planning on doing. So guys, I thought I'd give you that update. And another quick update as well. Dave and Mike Reviews will be returning to your screens. That's all I need to say. So keep an eye out on my channel, because there is going to be a new Dave and Mike Reviews coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.